1, 2, 3.
Hey there, we are Honest to Klaud. And this is our Star Wars podcast. I'm Eric Elliott, and this is my father,
Rodney Elliott.
So, first of all, who the hell is Klaud? If you've seen the intro, you might, wow, that's a weird, freaky, potentially little Muppety guy.
Yes.
Well, that's exactly what he is. He is a mechanic and a pilot from Rise of Skywalker. He's a giant slug man. You see him, especially in like the first 15 minutes of the movie.
Yes.
But I thought it would be a good idea for you to understand our passion, fandom, to talk about our journey from when we first saw Star Wars up until now. Like, I'm not expecting a large dossier of information, just like general overview and how you've accumulated your nerddom.
Oh, well, Star Wars was the first movie I ever seen. The Empire Strikes Back, to be exact. And my father took me when I was a young boy, and I've been addicted ever since. It was just a beautiful time for me. I enjoyed it. Nothing like sports and things that connected with me. Yeah. So this was my thing. And that's how I got hooked to it. How about you?
Well, you showed me VHS copies of the original trilogy. I'm not sure if they were, the post-95 releases when they started doing special editions. I don't know.
They were post.
Definitely.
Okay. Most definitely.
So I wouldn't have seen only slightly edited 1995 versions because they did special editions in 97. I only would have watched that after I'd found some VHS copies at a thrift store and like watched them myself. Okay. But as I've talked about before on Streaming Star Wars, check them out. We all enter in our different generations. Yeah. Like, first you have the initial release generation. You had maybe your Laserdisc generation. You had VHS, re-release VHSs, DVDs, and now we're in the streaming era,
which makes life so much easier.
As I mentioned, I started watching the special editions on VHS when I was probably 3 or 4 years old. But my first theater-going experience would be Attack of the Clones. Yep. Which I know is not in many people's greatest, but it does hold a special place in my heart because it was the first thing I saw. And there are scenes that I do remember seeing in theaters when I was like 4 years old. There's certain shots I'm like, yeah, I remember that. Like, it keeps running through my head. And of course, like, I had to watch it multiple times, so I'm going to keep being reminded of it. It's not like really one-time thing. Like, once you're in the Star Wars gumbo, like, you just keep returning.
It depends on the person, though. It definitely depends on the person. I have some people that has fallen out of favor with Star Wars given the newer movies, but I think they give it a chance on a rewatch. It's some really amazing things they were trying to do, but the fandom wouldn't allow it, I guess.
Certain subsects, it just seemed like the ones that are very angry are very vocal, and they seem like there's just a huge swath of them compared to the general masses. I think most people that watch Star Wars, they're just like, oh, that was cool, and then they just move on. Like, they don't like obsess over it and like make YouTube videos where people have like red eyes edited in thumbnails.
Well, yeah, I can understand that. Maybe that's the problem. That when the squeaky, the loudest noise get the oil, or what's the term? Like, the squeaky. I have a brain fart. But the loudest, most vocal people seem to get the attention. That doesn't make it good. It just
no. It's controversy and anger is something that generates clicks on the internet, and
clicks.
Like people that will like just get real angry, they will get that ad revenue. They will get people that will lead you to just say, oh yeah, everyone that likes Solo and Last Jedi, they're just sponsored with Disney shows. Like, they repeat this, and they have, like, whether or not they believe it is irrelevant. They are making a toxic environment, and they're like getting people to join them to the dark side of fandom.
Yeah, I could care less about that type of mentality. Just I enjoy what I enjoy.
Yeah, like I don't like. Unfortunately, because I find myself on my spaces a lot around Star Wars, I have encountered them. But at the same time, like, it's good to remind yourself, like, they're very far from the majority. Most people are pretty chill, or they're just like, oh, it wasn't for me. And wasn't for me is the best response to not just like always like have your blood boiling.
I never saw the purpose. I don't like being angry. It doesn't do me any good.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm a worse person when I'm that upset about a movie.
Yeah.
A movie.
Mm-hmm.
So what's next on the docket?
What's next on the docket? Well, we can talk about how we're currently engaging in fandom or the franchise. I'm sure we could talk about how we both together watched the second episode of Mandalorian season 3, and we watched the Outpost episode of Bad Batch.
I'm trying to debate which one I like better.
I like the Bad Batch.
That was Crosshair. Oh my God. His arc in that episode, I'm like, Jesus Christ. And I really enjoyed it. Like, his voice is the lieutenant.
Now, I did think there was like kind of an interesting parallel I can make to Bad Batch and Mandalorian. Not the specific episode of Mandalorian, but I'm just like, in season 2, we had Nick Mayfield, Bill Burr's character, shoot a preceding officer.
Oh yeah.
Just got under his skin and realizing he is worth nothing.
We're doing that same imperial or colonial mentality of how they use people. That's that using of people. They don't care what happens to them, what they do.
You're just a cog in the machine.
Yes.
To get what they want. Like, they were set up to just guard stormtrooper armor. And
they could have been using the whole time.
And they were waiting for them to die
over
off.
a year.
They're just like, it's going to happen eventually, and then we'll just like throw in our stormtroopers, because like they have no morality to clones. They see them as inherently lesser. They don't see them as like real people.
Yeah, I agree. And okay, to watch Crosshair being a soldier who just followed orders, and to see him just, I don't know if he changed 100%, but it was at the end that it go to a cliffhanger. God damn you, Disney! Goddamn you, Dave Filoni, for just getting me to that point. You just pull back, and I will be waiting next Wednesday with bated breath. It's just, God damn it, he's one of my favorite characters. I usually thrive off the darker characters, and I just find it more interesting. And his character arc, what he's going through right now, I was hoping at the end that, you're like, let me get a ship, instead of shooting it. Spoiler if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry. But instead of doing what he did, he would have got a ship and came back and just blew it up and took off and went to find his brothers, his true that was so cool. Yeah. But to see where he's at right now, I don't know what's going to happen. And if I could have an arc in that story, like I could jump forward 2 years, 3 years now, and we're in the story, all the other clones are dead except for Omega and Crosshair. And they become like a family. I would like that. That would be me.
Yeah, well, we know, like, at least one character we've seen, like one clone character we've seen in the show, like, still lives on past them, and that's Rex. Yeah. We see him in Rebels, which is way in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I kept thinking at least one member, whether it's current or kind of lapsed member of Bad Batch, would pass away, and like the two top names that were in my head were like, okay, either it's gonna be Crosshair or it's gonna be Echo. That's gonna pass away. Don't get me wrong, I like them a lot more in season 2 and seeing like the way they interact with other characters more than it did before.
It's kind of character development. The same thing they did in the Ahsoka series. When you first saw Ahsoka, I couldn't fucking stand her. She knew everything, and she had to be humbled. And the same thing is happening with Rex right now. He's getting to that point where he's being humbled. That no matter how many mistakes you make, there's always a way back. But it's gonna be a long trek back, and that's what I like about his character now. I always liked Crosshair, but to see what he's going through right now, from the beginning of his following orders, and to pretty much shoot a higher ranking officer, and I love it. I loved it, but we didn't talk about Mandalorian.
Yeah, we can talk about it. We can talk about the very Greek myth Hephaestus little bug that is, taking out blood and doing whatever.
The eye was so creepy. The eye was so creepy. But I'm sorry, everyone. I was dying to see Mandalore. I wanted to see it, and just to see how everything has been glassed over and the reflections and everything about it. I thought it was really well done. I'm sitting there just like trying. I think right now you can't tell, but we were watching on the TV right here. I had to shut the curtain because it was a dark area, but I saw the glare. I wanted to see every little detail. I did not want to watch this on my phone. I wanted to see it on a bigger monitor so I could see everything. Yeah. And it didn't disappoint. Some of the visuals, that flyover with Bo-Katan and Grogu flying over, as soon as they broke through the clouds and that turned, I think they showed it in the previews for the episode. I love that shot. I absolutely love that shot. I could watch just that shot of just seeing the Dome City destroyed. I heard his comment, it wasn't always like this. Yeah. And it was amazing.
Preparing to see Mandalore, one of the things that popped in my head was just okay, how much is the architecture in live action going to look like? I know it's going to be in Rebels,
city, yeah.
but how much it's going to look like from the Clone Wars? Because it had a lot of weird blocks. Yeah. It was kind of Art Deco. It was very inspired design. And I was just like, okay, how much is going to translate? And I saw a little bit of the rough building shapes of okay, we got the squares and we have the elongated rectangular shapes. So I'm like, okay, they're not just completely reinventing. It's they're making sure that there's a decent amount of continuity. I know in Star Wars, continuity, spontaneity sometimes. Minuscule details, translations of characters is in different cartoons, the eye color changes. Saw Gerrera had blue eyes and green eyes and live action brown eyes, but whatever. That's so small potatoes. It doesn't it's not a big character arc inconsistency.
I'll say this: any episode that Dave Filoni have done, whether it's Star Wars or Bad Batch or Rebels, I've liked. I mean, I know if he's controlling the continuity of it, but
he does a bit of it, but it's really a hive of different writers and producers.
But it's something about it when I can usually tell if I don't look at the credits, I can tell if it's his story, and that's what I like. Hell. Would he?
If it has Ahsoka, it's him.
Well, he's
like, this is my baby.
That's gonna be a drug for me. Ahsoka series is gonna be a drug, and I have. God damn it, that's gonna be so good. I just can't wait for that to drop. I shouldn't waste my life waiting for these series. I'm don't get me wrong, I do other things, people, but I am these are the things I truly look forward to, because right now there's nothing on my plate that I like. We usually, when we get together, we try to watch a movie. The only thing that's out right now is Cocaine Bear and Quantumania. Yeah. It was. I like Michelle Pfeiffer. I like Jonathan Majors. Everybody else, I was like, meh. Not meh, but just like I just enjoy their interaction. When it's too much action, sometimes there's too much visual effects going on, I get lost.
You need more grounding.
It's just like the second episode of Mandalorian season 3. I enjoyed it. It was more a conversation. It was like, this is what he's going through. This is what it is.
It's definitely slower.
All right, then what's the name of the girl on Tatooine that I love?
Peli Motto.
What's her real name?
Oh, the actress Amy Sedaris.
Amy Sedaris is killing this role. I get joyful every time I see her on the screen, and the way she was scamming that, the scam she was running. Oh my god! As soon as she about 2 months, as soon as she gets out the door, getting Jawas here, they had all the parts. Yep. Oh, this is paint them different. I hate her, but I love her so. I would hate for having to get some work done with her. But I like her as a character. I'm a horrible person, but I find her hysterical. And every time she's on the screen, I enjoy it. Then they went on. It was just pretty much a conversation piece. No action was going on. Then they flew off. I'm like, I need a droid. It was just everything about it. It wasn't overwhelming. And then
I think Amanda should have brought like at least a gas mask for the baby, just in case if there's
if it was uninhabitable, most likely we would have kept his ass in the ship the entire time. I was
just like he briefly opened the ship. I'm just like to me,
hold your breath.
I wouldn't like if Chernobyl happened like 10 years ago, and I like go to the spot where it happened. I'm just like I'm gonna be way more concerned of like possibly dying in less than a decade because I caught
radiation. Fair enough. The creatures I thought in the cave were interesting, especially the flying ones. I thought they were beautifully done. And I liked seeing Bo-Katan return and deal like she knew she made mistakes, but I'm hoping her arc will redeem herself in the long run. I don't know. She can still be. She lost a lot.
And she's fighting with her identity just like Mando is, because at one moment she'll say you believe the fairy tales of like going the living waters, and she's still following the idea of just like, oh, if you beat the dude in combat, you can have the sword and you can leave Mandalore. Just like these rules are like you're arbitrarily making for yourselves. Like nothing says it has to be the way other than you say it. It's like it's a custom where it's like self-flagellation.
Yeah, I agree. But if you're a believer, I guess you're more of an agnostic approach.
Bo-Katan is more agnostic than
more. She is. I think if she
like obviously the opposite side of the spectrum is the armor. She's full in. Like she can't fathom questioning it in another way. Otherwise, she'll like say you can't.
I think she might. I don't want her to be the armor. I don't want her to be, but she might be the villain in this, because when you're that religiously blind, there's no room for leeway. I think Mando is probably walking the line between both Bo-Katan and the armor. He gets along. Well, I guess they get along. The armor, she really doesn't say much other than she's very much. This is the way. And but just to see their interaction. So technically, he did bathe in the waters. Yeah, almost fucking drowned. I still didn't see what drug him down. That was a hell of, because she when she dived in the water, she had to use her packs just to get down there as fast as he did. So I want to say the Mythosaur that took him down, but why?
Maybe it's hungry.
Next episode. Next episode. God damn it.
Just gotta wait a week.
Drop them all now. I know you fucking got them. Drop them now. Oh, I think as I said, about rage and anger, I'm about to catch a heart attack right now. Blood pressure. Breathe. Yeah. So to see the mythosaur like that, because it was like more or less when she saw the mythosaur. I'm not saying she became more of a believer, but she said I think she saw a way to make it happen again. And
he's like, okay, there is some truth to the legends that I was told.
Yeah, but I don't think Mandalore as a whole planet or a civilization is gone. No different than Baltimore. Okay. Well, I try to maintain my block where I live at, and it's all in the mentality. If everybody believes it's a horrible place, then it will be so. But if you have a few people that beautify and make it nice and just try to fix where they are, it will be so as well. And it takes just a few people. And she needs to get off the despair and depression and actually get up and start doing something. Because she was in the exact same position. Both, I'm gonna sit in this chair. I don't think she takes a bath. I don't think she took a bath. She was like, I'm gonna sit here and sulk and you got to snap out of it. She just really got to snap out of it. I think the mythosaur might have done it for her though. I hope. I hope, because you can better ride that thing. I want to see how, because like in the cartoon special for Boba Fett, he was riding the mythosaur, wasn't he not? How big are they? Because that thing looks freaking huge.
Like as far as we know, there could be like different breeds of mythosaurs. Just like how there's different kinds of crate dragons, because it's just like one we saw in Mandalorian is like the size of a skyscraper, but in like other source material, like they're like the size of just like a small house. So it all depends with that. Yes.
I know you're vegetarian, but would you eat crate dragon meat?
No.
Fuck. I want to try it.
All right. So as part of,
I'll turn it to brisket. I'm slow roasting it. I actually thought about how I would cook crate dragon meat. I would probably brine it first, then sous vide it for a few hours, and turn it into just like a nice brisket. I'm sorry. Continue.
It's only a matter of time before Disneyland Resort makes like mythosaur steak as an item.
I would like that a lot. Matter of fact, if they can find a way to make the giant turkey legs and like the big ass mythosaur
horn.
Oh my god! Like, I would like that so much. Tell me to lie. Make it happen. I don't care what you got to do. Reshape the meat. Do it like a chicken McNugget. I don't give a damn. Just make it happen.
So the thing with Klaud is that Klaud is a character that rarely does anything. And that's one of the special things about him. Like the fact that he doesn't get much attention, he has a weird allure to him. Like if there was all the attention put on him, you're just like, oh, it's just like that's one main character. I mean, I know he looks freaky.
Yeah.
But
like a penis is walking around the street.
But I'm just like, if he was the main character, you're just like, well, like by now you're just like, oh, it's Klaud.
But so is Klaud like the guy on the couch, like in Half Baked for you? Like, you remember Half Baked, the guy that's rolled over the couch, and it's the guy on the couch. He never had a name, and that's
yeah. Well, one of the things that I love about him is that somehow he's an engineer and a pilot, but he has no arms or hands. And I want to know, how does he do all that? Does he use tendrils?
There's tendrils.
Does he use his tendrils? Does he stand on top of his head and use his feet?
His mouth.
Does he have a force? I don't know. But it's so weird and absurd that it creates a interesting mechanization of like what is this character, and what he is a glut shooter.
Oh yeah, Glup Shadow.
Yeah, Glup Shadow is a character that usually has barely any lines, or sometimes no lines, just usually in the background. And every episode of Honest to Klaud, we will bestow the people a Klaudly Glup Shadow. And the one I want to introduce for the Glup Shadow of today is a character that is on screen in one of the main movies, but it's kind of like a blink, you don't miss him.
Okay.
His name is Corman Jen.
Who?
Corman Jen.
What episode? Where is he at?
Okay, he shows up in Empire Strikes Back. Okay.
Really?
Listen. So, human male from Calabash 2 who served for time as a security guard for the weapons manufacturing company Caliban and was nationalized by the Galactic Empire and the Alliance of the Restored Republic.
All right, this is the backstory.
He moved to Bespin after this. After he lost his job doing security.
Wait, how you know he lost his job?
Because he's just like, I'm not going to do this. Like, our security firm was nationalized by the Empire, just like the one of the antagonists of like Andor. Like, it became like just completely controlled by the Empire at some point, and he like left. And the same thing happened to this guy.
Okay, so he's on Bespin.
Yeah, he's on Bespin, where he became a member of the Bespin Wing Guard.
The fuck? Where were they at?
During the occupation of Bespin, he was presented with Lando Calrissian, Lobot, and several of his fellow Wing Guardmen to greet a group of rebels, who we know as Han, Chewbacca, Leia.
He greeted them. So
he's just one of the guys
in the background.
Yes.
Oh, I'm like, you son of a bitch.
We see him in the shots where he's like running around, like when the Empire actually shows up, like we're fully aware they show up, and Lando has to tell everyone, there's a lockdown emergency with the telecom. He shows up in other shots there. The character is played by an uncredited actor. We're not sure who actually played this guy.
Is he dead?
I think he's still alive. And like he doesn't look that old in the picture. And I'm like, that would have been like 40-some years ago. He could be. I don't know. But one thing I thought was interesting is that I was like realizing something. I was like, wait, he's the first Asian in Star Wars.
I'm flipping through my mental Rolodex. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. It's the gears of...
Yeah, he just shows up behind Lobot's head in this one shot.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you just saying it because you think so?
No, I watched someone that like does like toy reviews of figures of like every Bespin guard, and they were just like...
what about New Hope? No, in the New Hope?
No. We got 2 in Return of the Jedi. And there were 2 pilots for Rebels.
Okay.
But yeah, he's the first one to show up on screen. And yes, all the guards have names because everyone in Star Wars practically, almost everybody. So some people are just like uncredited alien in the background.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. And he's like so obscure, he doesn't even have a canon tab. He only has a Legends tab.
So there's no toys in this guy.
There have been toys, but interesting.
He has to be getting royalties in.
I don't know. Like, we don't even know who his name is because it's not even listed in credit. Like we had to like go
find this man.
Like we had to like find like maybe an assistant of Irving Kershner who's still alive to figure out like if
he is. He could be the guy across the street running a grocery store.
You never know where he went. But even though he barely shows up at all, like he is part of the greater tapestry, and him having a Wikipedia article just makes it a little harder for him to be completely lost in the sands of time. Like there's for instance in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, there's a lot of ship designs that have never been reused in any other media. Okay. A lot of times it's just like they compiled like little toy kit plastic pieces and like glue them together, and they'll like put them in the background. And they'll just like do a little bit of rotoscoping with it. And it's usually in like very low quality because they were expecting that one day there would be like high definition quality.
That's a horrible design from him.
Well, yeah, a lot
of
the
toy.
Yeah, a lot of the toys that they made for his guys are
Jesus
like really
Christ.
weak. One of the worst offenses is that they'll use the same exact model. They'll just reprint it and just paint over it. So you like a black guy. That's like a Bespin guard. You don't even give them like a properly credited name. It's just Bespin guard, like Bespin guard 2, Bespin guard 3. Like these are definitely not Hot Toy exclusives. And you can tell.
Lando do better. Glad. Thank you for Lando for inclusion. That's beautiful, but
like
this toy design is bad.
Like actually being an actor / character of color that actually does things.
Yeah,
not just like a background wall dressing.
Yeah, it's advantageous. Look at you, responsible. Gotta stop.
But yeah, like once you like start like going down the hole of Wikipedia, like it's a never-ending cycle of like you just keep bumping into like
you gotta stop this.
You stop it.
It would kill our show, but Jesus Christ, that's. Yeah. Thank you for that. Say his name one more time. Jar what?
Corman. Jin. Yeah.
Wish I had a 40-hour porch spot for Corman Jin right now.
If you're wondering, his first name is Coraman. Pretty standard. Jin is Jeihn. Considering some of the spellings I've seen of some Star Wars characters, this is like whatever.
Oh, are we about to?
Yes, we're about to load up. Do you have any ideas that you want to instill to the audience? Maybe like plug your artistry.
No. This is Star Wars and Star Wars only.
We're not Star Wars only though.
Oh yeah, we're not Star Wars only. But if you want to follow me at QRCKY on Instagram.
You can follow me at EMC Elliott on Twitter. Every once in a while, I'll post, just skirting the lines of copyright laws with Star Wars t-shirts.
Fair enough.
Thank you for tuning in, and this is Honest to Klaud.
Stay. You always I'm all yeah. Proud of you.